So, good afternoon, dear friends. I'm happy to welcome you at this great venue, so brand new, so developing as the venture market in Russia is. The sun is on, is shining, means that it will bring success and good mood. My name is Yulia Povolotskaya. As was said, I'm from Moscow Venture Fund and Moscow Innovation Cluster, institutions of innovation development in Moscow, and since Moscow occupies 70% of the total venture investment market in Russia, so I was lucky to tell you how the situation operates in Russia. So I will tell you the following. The first half of 2025 demonstrating immense growth, 80% against last year. The volume of venture investment came up to $87 million. The number of the deals closed, we kept the same balance and stayed in 74 deals closed. So what can we say about all this is that we can see that investors are shifting to more mature projects. Maybe not only more mature, but maybe more selective have they become, and actively selecting and choosing attentively choosing their projects because they don't want to squander money. So we can see stable growth in Russia after a very difficult period. We are starting to catch up and actively moving ahead. The average bill increased, came up to $1.2 million against last period. It's almost doubled. But more indicative is to look at the mediana bill, which is $132,000, which is doubled against last year. So this is the gap between the average and the mediana bill. So shows that our pyramid is not equal. The top of it includes 3 bigger deals, and the rest distributed by more moderate investments. What can be the reason? Of course, investment into more capital-intensive and possibly more interesting from the point of view of strategic investment into the development of national economy. For instance, we can see here that 40% of all investments made in 2025 were the investment into projects with the use of AI. And as for the number of the deals, every 5th deal, even more, was done in the AI field. On the slide, you can see the split. So what can we say about IPO, exit, and M&A indicator? The number of exits increasing, but the volume of the money raised is smaller, possibly because investors decided to exit at an earlier stage, showing that the company is developing and ready to take the capital back earlier. So M&A also decreasing, interest to M&A decreasing, and IPO in first half was only 1 in number, only 480 million, which is $5.8 million. But we expect before the end of the year to have more placements, and we will tell you about all this. As you know, for Russian audience, it's no secret the key rate is quite high of the central bank, and possibly it will start going down, and we might see some interesting development of the story. So look at distribution by industries. If the number of the deals, we can see food tech and business software becoming leaders of the rating. In the volume of investments, healthcare, fintech, and transport and logistics winning. It means that investors and startups it is easier for them to raise or attract investment in this kind of industries and start business in those things when you test a hypothesis. And it is easier to raise money for this kind of stories and easier to invest. And as for bigger capital, it goes to strategic areas. That's exactly what we currently have at the forefront. Involvement of corporate funds and corporates, well, growing, but not as quickly as we wanted. We wanted more than 50% of investment in the venture market to be the investments within the involvement of the corporate capital and bigger corporations. That's a good global trend. So far, our corporates' behavior is moderate. Their bill is small. They are trying to pilot, but that's very important as an area, and we are ready to develop because corporations are about expertise and renovation and modernization in general in different industries of economy. Interesting observation that shows the general robust economy is new investment funds. 5 new investment funds started to invest, and you can see that they're very different, and their stage of development is very different. Startups are very different, interesting for those funds, and their focus is different. They're more professional, and they now invest in narrower niches, and by the end of the day, at any stage of development in any industry, any startup can find its fund or investor which will be happy to invest.
And with this, I finish my short overview, and I would ask our colleagues from the BRICS countries who are present here today, saying that the Russian economy and the venture market is recovering. We're open, we're ready to cooperate. We are ready to exchange experience and create joint funds and work together for well-being of the world. So please, your questions. You know, your questions should go through QR code. Can we have it like this? But if you are sending your questions now through QR code, while you're doing it, probably we can take questions from the audience, because it's interesting. We just discussed where are exits, where are they? You know, very good mood among our experts and speakers. One of them is microbiologist in background. And there was a comparison that this space broth our life started with, our situation, you know, today looks like a space broth. Probably something, not probably, but definitely something good will come out of it. Definitely. We were the first in the space. Why not the spaceship will come out of it? This is the best chance time to build up the exchange market. So looking and peeking into the future, a very good mood among speakers indeed, despite all the challenges. Any questions now? Okay, then it's all clear. Yes, we have one question. Thank you. L5 Dmitry Monahov. As far as I understand, you have an instrument of incentive loans for companies after rounds. How could you please describe? First of all, the government of Moscow loves this program of lending. There are 2 types of beneficial lending. There is one process where the government of Moscow is subsidizing the interest rate. In Sberbank, you take a loan with a rate twice lower than the market offers, or even lower than that. We have an interesting program, lending with the coverage of with collateral in intellectual rights, as intellectual rights as collateral. And there is another program from Moscow Venture Fund. We are offering lending with our rate of 10% up to 300 million rubles. We are ready to finance the projects. The projects that will not get money from banks, because these are venture investments and they might not go through risk management. Well, there are some aspects, but we believe in them. And since we are allocating budget funds, we have to have this synergy of common sense and risks and the belief in the future, bright future. We should stick to this balance. If there are private investors who believe in you as strong as you are, and we can also believe in you and give you one-to-one investments.